Got the cinematics rolling, the players are up in the plane, and the plane is now departing. Here we go, a northeast plane path heading down, taking a nice angle to the southwest. In just a matter of moments, I think we're going to have that up on screen. But what a beautiful set that we're working with here at StarLadder.
Absolutely, StarLadder redefining the LAN experience for PUBG in Season 1 and keeping that going into Season 2. But here is our map. We can see our teams are now dropping out of the plane and finding their loot locations. You can already see 17, or Team Secret, Team Ghost, Divine, all heading more towards the northeast, while everybody else looking like that middle area is a little bit congested there, Esquire.
Yeah, you know, this is pretty true, though, to Miramar. I mean, it's such a big map, Poro, that you really are hedging your bets properly if you just land in the middle. The chances are, if you land central on Miramar, that you're likely going to be inside of the first circle of the game. And there it is. All of our players have now departed the plane here for game number 1. And it is going to be so incredibly fascinating to see how these teams are going to adjust and where our first circle of the tournament is going to be landing. Here we're looking at Team 17 landing in the Hacienda del Patron area. We've got Shox and Xiao going to be looting up as a duo.
Fortunately, they do have this area all to themselves. It looks like they're the rest of their teammates doing a little split looting situation, but nobody right on top of them for now. It looks like everybody on this map has pretty much found their own little home to call or place to call home, and we see this first circle has now popped, and it is going to go north central. So this is going to be good news for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad circle to work with. Certainly the teams that landed central on Miramar are going to be happy with their positioning, especially given what they are seeing right now. A few teams, though, going to be outside of this circle number 1 at least. Ghost, some of our teams that we saw drop out very early, going to have to make their way down a little bit to the southwest to find themselves safe for zone number 1. Around the map, though, Pora, we do see a lot of other teams having taken advantage of those early drops, dropping late, going to be able to pretty much loot to their heart's desire without any type of contest. Over here in El Pozo, we just had one squad, but back to the beautiful San Martin. Welcome to South George, going to be looting up. Pretty loose split right now for these guys. We got Vard, Gaxi, and the rest of the crew over there as well.
Very far from South George right now, but they are finding a nice little home in San Martin. Meanwhile, M19 finally landing in their parachutes all the way down in Los Leones. They are going to have to get to a loot location fairly quickly to get into that, to transition into this first circle. But that being said, M19, not a team that likes to go dead center very early. They like to play it a little bit more slow, so they'll probably be pretty comfortable coming into the circle a little bit later.
Yeah, and I mean, that strategy, the desk mentioned it earlier, that strategy in particular worked so well for M19 in the previous tournament for GLL, which they took first place in. So we're hoping to see them come off of that strong finish there and play just as well here today. Tainted Minds, one of our teams from the Oceania region from Australia, I believe is where most of these guys hail from. They've got Extreme 2G subbing in for one of their players.
Yeah, Extreme 2G from Greyhound Gaming, a great player from that Oceania region. It's going to be really interesting to see how Tainted Minds decides to play this. We see Knights very split up in the southern part of this circle right now. They are going to have to be careful if any of these teams start rotating a little bit, in particular Texas, finding himself very close to Tainted Minds and Optic right now. Is Valiate also finding himself close to all of MVP in north in El Pozo. So we got to be careful about them, while we see Gen G finding a home all to themselves in Impala, and X-Quest finding themselves over here in what do you call this area?
Minas Generales.
You call it Minas?
Yeah, the Minas Generales area, right?
It's usually if you're in that that warehouse area, the factory area. I don't know. I don't always call it Minas. Usually we call it factory or north of the street, south of the street, whatever. But
whatever floats your boat, Poro, that's what you're going to be calling it. You know.
Yeah, well, we can see X-Quest already getting out of Minas Generalis, going a little bit farther north, finding themselves a new place to call home inside this circle. They're opting, instead of going for center, kind of going to a little half and half little action there.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things while we're kind of tossing around the map, kind of looking at where each team has dropped, we're not seeing any early game conflict. For the most part, all 16 of these teams have been able to avoid one another, at least in close proximity, to get some loot and now make their transitions. 2 minutes until the blue zone will be shrinking, constricting on circle number 1, so it's starting to get into that crunch time. But we already do have some shots coming out. It looks like Vega Squadron might be taking some poke shots over at Team 17.
That is our first shots of the game, and I think that's actually Victory 5, V5. Taking shots over at 17. So just some poking shots, a little letting you know we're here, sending those shots so you don't end up rushing our compound. We want to call this home. And they have a nice little 2-2 split here going on for Victory 5 in the center of the circle. they could play this pretty well, actually.
Beautiful crate, going to be barely missing the roof of that or possibly clipping the side of that warehouse. That's an interesting drop part for.
Right
there we go,
the
right there on the truck. A nice little delivery for someone to pick up, but at least from what I was aware of, no team is even close to this crate, Boro.
Yeah, Team Secret might be the only one that might have seen it drop, but they look like they are going to go ahead and find themselves a new home in there soon. But shots are coming out from Team 17, seeing XQuest trying to transition. He gets taken very low, and he's going to go down to 47 Gamer. That is one down for Team 17 on this transition. XQuest now having to decide whether or not they want to get this res off. The shots are going to come out, and that's going to be one kill down now for Team 17. XQuest going to have to play the rest of this out with 3.
First blood of game number 1, Poro. I mean, you hate to be that person, but certainly someone has to in every game of PUBG that we play. So now we have to watch what will XQuest be able to do throughout the game, now having to adjust their strategy, playing with only 3 players.
Well, they are still very, very split up here. As you can see, Cobra and AK still making their way in. But their one teammate, Z9 Max, still alive, has that compound for himself. Is he going to get pushed? It does not look like it just yet. But meanwhile, we're seeing Vega transition in from this southern side. Knights Texas already very, very low. I'm not sure if he wants to engage on this or just scare them away. The shots are going to come out. Ooh, but he gets return fire. He needs to be careful here because one shot and he's going down, and there's nobody near him to get that res off. So they are in the blue right now, it looks like.
Yeah, Texas is in a very tough spot. We can see he doesn't have a lot of meds, certainly has a plethora of bandages, but bandages can only take you so far. Poro, he does not want to use his only first aid yet, but now he's going to be looking back out of this garage, trying to see if there's any information that he can either pick up and use for himself or for his teammates. But here we go. Welcome to South George Gaxi. Going to be rolling up on this compound where shots were coming out of earlier. This is going to be Victory 5 yet again, and they're being crept up on. Look at this from San Martin. Here comes Gaxi, going to be leading this sort of slow push, Poro, not too aggressive, just trying to scout out the area. They might have even heard shots coming out of this compound just a matter of minutes ago.
Now this is LSN and Shandien from Victory 5, looking like they're considering just going ahead and getting out of this location. Looks like they should do that in time and will avoid having to interact with Welcome to South George just yet. But where are they going to go now? Where are they going to call home? They did have that 2-2 split going on. It didn't seem to be working for them too well because they weren't able to cover each other. Basically, they were able to have a nice little crossfire, but they couldn't see each other, if anything. Oh, Larson finding himself picked out. LSN and Shandien, can they get the bullet? Ooh. Larson, the shots come out. He's safer right now. Where's his teammates? There they are. Gaxi's going to get both of them in the down. And Larson managing to be perfect bait for the double kill for Gaxi, and that is 2 kills picked up for Welcome to South George, and now Victory 5 finding themselves 2 remaining players to go through on the rest of this competition in the first game of Miramar. That is not where you want to be.
No, certainly not. I mean, employing a 2-2 split, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get rolled up on, and unfortunately the numbers do not play in your favor. But here we have Bahawaka from Optic. Going to be running away from these shots. He is a solo player, at least for the time being. He needs some backup, or he needs to completely disengage from this area and avoid being wiped out from Team MVP. We can already see him starting to rotate a little bit out of this position, over to the west, over to the crossroads, and now backing down south. Calling in his teammates, possibly, or trying to get a little bit more information. We're going to wait and see how he plays this. But Siege and Payne G are going to be rolling out of this area. They've taken their shots, and they don't want to overstay their welcome.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bahawaka and Hypoc, I believe, got caught out in rotation by those guys, by the boys from MVP. So Hypoc has gone down. Optic now playing with just 3 players. Bahawaka needs to find a way to get out of there. But being the flanker, he is used to being by himself, and he is used to playing this safe, so he should be able to get back to the rest of his squad. As we see more teams trying to find their way in. Ghost trying to transition, but Secret not going to give up their compound so easily.
Yeah.
AK from XQuest is waiting for the rest of his squad to show up as well. Ghost going to go ahead and find a home near the water treatment plant.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to rotate out of this position. They sent McCoy out to scout, but unfortunately, McCoy ran straight into the 4-man squad of Team Secret. We saw a few tracer rounds being thrown back and forth. Looked like Ghost was putting out a few shots onto Team Secret, but also receiving some as well. McCoy going to instantly turn around and reunite back with his 3 teammates to make that a 4-man squad. Here we do have Method. Looks like they're just checking out the area, but Extreme 2G, the sub for Tainted Minds, going to be spotting out Method, taking some shots from afar, but possibly trying to find some connections. Return fire being had.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those shots there. You are definitely going to get return fire at some point. You don't want to take any unnecessary damage on your helmet or on your armor just yet. It's nice to take those shots just to kind of scout out and make sure everybody knows you have a home. But right now, you can see Ghost actually picking up a kill on Secret.
I mean, and that's not a short-range shot at all with the M24, a long-range shot coming out, beautifully played, probably going to be able to get the pickup onto that player, but certainly going to be wearing down their attrition.
Yeah, Ghost definitely. Once McCoy found out that Secret was a 4-man squad in that compound, Ghost just going ahead and posting up and going to take any shots down here that they can get. You can see they got the res off onto Smitty, but Smitty going to be feeling that hurt. I'm not sure if he still has a helmet or not, but if he does, it's probably damaged pretty nicely right now. As Pokemolodoy going to continue their transition process for Navi, as our circle is now finally about to close in here.
I mean, and for all intents and purposes, Navi had one of the longest rotations from their original looting phase, landing down in the Valle del Mar area on the far southwestern part of Miramar. So good to see that they're finally able to make their way back into the circle. Certainly, there were a few teams that were originally gatekeeping that southwestern edge of our first play zone, but they seem to have trickled out, going to be allowing Navi an easy entry from the southwest. Here we are back at Method, the 4-man strong squad, going to be maybe rotating out of this position. Only 10 seconds left until we see circle number 2.
Yeah, Method holding down the power grid right now. They are taking some stray fire still from Tainted Minds, but Tainted Minds needs to be careful here. They're going to have to transition. Ooh, actually going ahead and getting the down onto X-Chris. But now this is the time for Tainted Minds to move. They have the down. They need to move to get into this next circle. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take every opportunity that you get, specifically in competitive PUBG. A matter of seconds can be the difference between a squad wipe or an easy entry into the next circle. But both teams are trying to get out of that area. Tainted Minds just fully capitalized on that shot, was able to get the knock onto one of the members of Method. But Ghost, yet again, drawing fire from one of the enemy teams on the map. And, I mean, Ghost, they just can't escape these engagements. Thankfully, they're coming out on top of it with no losses. But still, Poro, you want to try to find a home and stop taking all of these shots from teams already securing compounds.
Yeah, they're going to take it down there from Secret, or from Team 17. Going to get the down onto McCoy, and they're going to have to go ahead and leave him. But it looks like they're driving right into Divine as we speak. You can see Balak now moving around, trying to work the hills. Ghost having to transition away from the spot that they originally were at, but they're going to lose McCoy in the process, unfortunately, for those guys, as M19 has now made their way into the zone as well.
I mean, Poro, teams, they've been third-partying all over the place. They just got a knock on Secret. They had previously gotten the knock onto McCoy. I mean, these guys are looking around the map. They are keeping their eyes on all different angles, making sure that no information goes passed on. Here we have Knights, Crema, Texas, and Dradon. Texas able to get out of that sticky situation that he found himself in the early game here of game number 1, reuniting with his other 2 teammates. We can see one of the other, Dradon, I believe he's a little bit separated off of that position, but still very, very close. Vega, though, finding themselves going to be engaging onto Raffi from Method. He was trying to transition through there. We can see AT and Moleman over in that area as well. But Kimba, does he have his teammates? Certainly we see them off to the west a little bit, but they need to get closer. They need to provide that support of a full 4-man squad.
I don't believe the shots have come out yet. I'm not sure if Method knows that Vega squad is here just yet. They're about to if Kimba takes these shots onto X-Chris. Doesn't look like they have the angle just yet. They are aware, though, that you can see the frags coming out as Method trying to form a nice spread here as they push into this area where Vega is currently holding. No shots have been really fired yet. We just had the frags come out, but I don't think they have vision on each other yet.
Yeah, they're going to be creeping around the fence of this compound, just trying to work their way in slowly, trying to gather information and not get caught out by one of the members of Method, surely in this compound as well. Just playing it very slow. And you like to see this methodical play coming from these teams where so much is on the line, not just international bragging rights and prestige, but also the $100,000 prize.
Yeah, Method playing this extremely carefully. You can see AT and Raffi all playing down in the divot. And as we turn away now and take a look at MVP, who's rotating onto a high ground spot where they have vision onto Navi. I don't see the shots coming out just yet. There's a couple right there, as Navi's now aware that MVP is keeping an eye on them. But Navi can gatekeep MVP here very, very easily should MVP decide to engage in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's a beautiful point that you make, Poro, because when you're outside of the zone to take shots at a team that's already secured a position inside of the second circle, they're going to be fully aware of your presence, one, and then they're going to have the opportunity to just turn around, not have any pressure on their back from the blue zone, and take whatever shots that they can. It's going to be interesting to see how Na'Vi plays it. Certainly, they don't want to get into a full engagement at this point in the game unless they're absolutely forced into it. But we can see Pokemon Drainus, Shade, and Uba now trying to rotate down the hill using these bits of Deflade, these bits of bowls in this mountain to try to escape line of sight from MVP.
Now we transition over back to Method and Vega, where they have started to get this fight going on. Maxazor finding himself out towards the edge by a plane. And now we're going to go back to MVP and Na'Vi. So MVP, if you could look at MVP, how they're spread across this map here, Alpaca has come very far to the north here, trying to get a good flank coming on. So this is a really aggressive play from MVP. They're playing this about as well as they can. Na'Vi just kind of keeping them at bay right now still, though. They have to make a move here at some point as the blue is right on their back, but it looks like Na'Vi's just going to go ahead and push out and find themselves a new home in and just go ahead and let MVP take that edge play and just have to worry about them later, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Na'Vi, MVP, and then this Method and Vega fight where the two big battles sort of priming themselves on this map. Unfortunately, the Na'Vi engagement is going to fizzle out as Na'Vi rotates out of there. The safe play to make, but Method and Vega are still squaring off in this compound. But here comes Optic's rotation. They're going to be heard by the Knights, and shots coming out now from all four members of that squad. Hetero are trying to roll up onto this compound, but Welcome to South George is already inside. Vard and Larson are hearing these shots. Do they know that it's at another enemy player, or do they think that it's at them, Poro?
Yeah, Welcome to South George just got protected by the rest of the by Method, I believe, as Hetero was taking some serious shots from the boys from Method. Larson and Vard, I believe those are the no, they're in a 2-2 split here, but they are not being Miracu and Gaxi don't have very good vision onto this. Hetero, knowing that these guys are in here, is going to go ahead and toss that grenade in. He's all by himself. He needs to do something. He gets it down, and that's going to be Larson going down. Vard now has to protect this all by himself. Hetero, the one-man solo play, is going to throw the grenade.
The follow-up grenade coming in here might be landing right on top of where Larson was being rezzed and barely misses Vard. Miracu going to be knocked as well. Vard now popping back into this room, trying to pick Larson up. He's got to do something, but here comes the push from Optic. They know that they have an opportunity. Now it is time to seize the day, and here comes the push. Valiant going to be following up onto his teammates, trying to give them whatever support that they need to, but Vard is in such a tough position, able to get the res onto Larson, so Welcome to South George is going to be working with 4 members up, but they are taking so much damage, so much pressure being applied to them by Optic.
Optic needs to be careful here, though. They're using all of their utility to try to kill these 2 players, as Larson is now all by himself. Vard has gone down. He's going to drop the smokes to try to see if he can get this res off before they get pushed. Optic, Larson gets taken to almost no health. He has the 2 boosts running, and that's going to be the only thing that saves him, but he is all alone now as Optic is swarming around him. The smoke going to go ahead and prevent them from pushing this just yet, but they have time.
They have a little bit of time, but Larson's going to take his opportunity to jump out the window using the smoke sound as a bit of a mask for his feet hitting the ground, now just trying to rotate out of this position. He knows that there is a full squad right on top of him, and there is nothing there for that compound anymore for Welcome to South George. He's going to be rotating out now using a bit of trees, just trying to look up, trying to see if he's being scouted out by that strong Optic squad who rolled up and did work. I mean, massive work, massive pressure being applied to that team. At that point in time, Poro, I think Welcome to South George's comms must have been absolutely chaotic.
Extremely fortunate for those boys that Larson was able to get that escape off, and the fact that Optic was taking fire from another source as Larson was making his escape. So, Welcome to South George still have 3 up. You can see MVP going to go ahead and switch from 3 men into 1 truck into 3 men in another truck. Hopefully, I'm assuming that there was no gas in the other truck, because going 3 deep into 1 vehicle this late in the game is extremely
when you have the opportunity
dangerous
to be in 2 vehicles and you all get out into the other vehicle, yeah, it's either gas or it's a health of the car type issue.
Oof.
But Vega's Kemba 7 going to be taken down by Z9 Max. Down and out they go. Still all 16 teams remaining. 7 players have dropped out, but we are 19 minutes into the game, Poro.
Yeah, Na'Vi pushing, you can see, very aggressively onto Vega after the down has gone. Knights holding down a nice little position here towards near the center of the map.
I mean, they haven't moved in minutes, at least 5 minutes. Knights has been holding down inside of these shacks, just taking pot shots wherever they can.
They are. Yeah, they apparently, I guess they just didn't have vision of Na'Vi running across this street here. They could have cause some serious problems for Na'Vi. But Na'Vi instead going to go ahead and make it across the street. Now Pokemolodoy actually taking some damage. But Tainted Minds find themselves a little bit of high ground to work with. They're going to take the shots over at M19. Botulin is going to make his way around. He's going to stay safe for now. Optic engaging in a long-range fight here. I'm pretty sure with MVP, Valier's gotten taken very low. M19 still managing to stay 4 strong and have a compound to themselves. Very on the southeastern side, the new circle is going to pop, and it is going to go east. So M19 feeling good. Team 17 feeling great about things as they are 4 strong, dead center circle.
Yeah, these guys have got to be loving where this circle has landed. Bachelin going to be rotating a little bit down to the south for M19. Possibly saw that crate drop, and if he can pick that up, that's going to be a beautiful level 3 kit and a nice gun to boot for that he can walk away with. But certainly it's going to be a risky engagement with all of these teams now rotating in closer and closer together. I fear for all of the teams, though, on the western side of things. Look at how chaotic shots left and right. The crossfire is absolutely insane, and our first team to be eliminated of game number 1, day number 1, is going to be Vega.
Vega finding themselves caught between about 3 different teams on that transition. Na'Vi now taking the long-range shots at Knights. Knights have the high ground here to work with, but that makes them a very, very easy target as they are silhouetted against the sky. The smokes are going to come out. Uba is going to try to make his way across this street. They have nowhere else to go. They need to make this run. And so far, it looks like they are able to do so. Some great protective fire here coming in from Shade, Drainies, and Pokemolodoy while Uba makes his way across the street, getting close, trying to get into grenade range. They do get the down onto Krema, so Krema going to have to get rezzed by Voxic here. Uba's going to get close enough to get into grenade range, though. So if Na'Vi can get that make that happen, they can make their way across the street. Tainted Minds now, Subslayer, the only one left alive. Or no, he's dead. I think they have 1 player left. They have 2 down. So here we go, Gen.G pushing into Tainted Minds and getting all these kills. Very, very nice move by Gen.G.
I mean, Gen.G just absolutely made work of this Tainted Mind squad, just decimating through them. They didn't even have an opportunity. Gen.G, such a strong squad, and it's so good to see them performing well here in game number 1. But back around the map, Poro, we have shots coming out from everywhere as Balak for Ghost Gaming is trying to take down some of the members of Welcome to South George. We can see Miracu going to be bleeding out inside of the shack. Larson, a little bit separated off of him to the south, going to be hiding in his own shack. But Drainus, the Car 98 god who previously had gotten a shot off onto one of the players from Knights, going to be pushing up onto this hill now.
Yeah, Ghost have a really good position in the northeastern part of this circle. They have a ridge line to work with. They can see everything in front of them. Balak taking big shots across at Divine as Divine tries to make their way into circle, and they're going to run right into MVP. You can see Na'Vi now have made their way across the street. They have Optic in their sights. Do they take the shots? No, not just yet. They still have a little bit of ways that they have to move. You can see in the corner of your screen, MVP also fighting with Divine. All these teams getting gate kept right now as Larson just a tourist essentially here onto this fight, just trying to stay alive for as long as possible while Ghost 3rd and 4th parties this fight.
I mean, this is true to form Miramar, very dead for the early game, but once you get into those hard shifts and those smaller circles, absolute chaos erupts, and we are seeing that played out right now. Pokemolodoy going to be dropped down to about 1% HP as the members from Victory 5 are going to be having his name, certainly watching him in their sights. More and more damage being popped off at Drainus now, trying to rotate off of that position, and that is going to be Team 17 taking out Navi's Drainus.
Na'Vi going out in 14th. That is not a good look for them as MVP now trying to engage upon this fight with Divine. Levi's the last remaining player up and alive. He's going to try to go for this res. It's about all they can do as the shots are coming in from MVP. They're coming in from Ghost. They're coming in from everywhere as all these teams are getting pushed by this circle as Ghost Balak is actually going to go ahead and get the shot onto Alpaca from MVP. So Ghost coming up with big kills by third-partying these fights going on from the transitions from the Northwest.
Yeah. I mean,
meanwhile, all this is going on. Team 17 still sitting so pretty in the middle of this circle with the high ground.
Yep, they got the compound. They've got all of the, I guess, essentials to work with. All they have to do is play it perfectly, and they can walk away with the chicken dinner here in game number 1. But that is a lot to ask of a team. Certainly a lot happens as these games continue to progress. 24 minutes into game number 1, and the shots coming out left and right. Turtle going to be finding a connection onto one of the members of Divine, and now Optics Hetor finding his own connections onto MVP. MVP was one of those teams that we saw rotate out of that vehicle into the other vehicle and try to get away. They were engaged on by Optic. This time, it's going to be Hetor coming up with more shots.
0-10, the last remaining player up for MVP. Divine able to get that res off. So Levis and Jet still alive and hovering in the smoke for now. but they have Ghost to worry about, they have Optic to worry about, and they have a long way to travel across a wide open plain to get into this next circle. Bottling all by himself on the top of this hill. He might be able to get rezzed here. They do have 4 strong still for M19. Valley 8 trying to find a place to call home in this new circle, but he is getting shot from everywhere.
Ooh, tires going out. His front and back tire going to be popped, and that is going to be the disablement of the vehicle. Valley 8 now going to be thrown to smoke, just trying to retreat off this without taking any more damage than he already has. Genji, though, already 7 kills to their name, trying to add to that kill count. They've taken down Method. They've taken down Tainted Minds. Will they be able to take down M19, a team that we were looking to do so much work here? And Wicked, wow!
Wicked getting the great flank on to M19. M19 down to just Konstantinik, as he's going to go ahead and run and try to get some place where he can hide for position. At this point, it is all said and done for M19. They're just going to try to get as far into this game as possible. But Gen G committing to that push and playing it so very well, as XQuest now is finally causing some problems for Team 17. Team 17 has been hiding in this compound for as long as we can remember, but now they are having to defend it a little bit more than they've had to previously.
Absolutely. We did see Optic going out in 10th place. 9 teams remaining, 26 minutes into game number 1 with 26 players alive, Poro. Victory 5 now going to be able to get a little bit of loot as they work their way into the western side of the circle, but still more and more pressure surrounding this compound. The grenades are going to be coming out. M19 wiped out in 9th place. One of the top teams coming out of the competitive scene up until this event. A very, very poor finish for them in game number 1. Certainly we're going to see them shift their strategy as we go through the other 4 games today here on Miramar. But now the story is going to be inside of this circle where Team 17 has been holding this compound for a majority of game number 1.
And, you know, it would be really easy for Team 17 to divert all of their attention onto XQuest right now, but they're not. They're making sure that they keep eyes on everywhere around them, and they don't want to tunnel vision just on this one team that's close. They're going to have Shu playing this wall, keeping track of them, throwing grenades, trying to get the downs here and there when he can, but they're not going to overcommit to this fight.
Yeah, and here we go. The next circle going to be landing on this compound. It's a little bit off-center down to the south, but still safe for the time being, and I think that's more than any of the other teams on the map can say at this point in time. Poro, we can see Genji, the 4-man strong squad, having to rotate up from the south. Secret over off of the east, and then Ghost up to the northeast, having to make their way in, but they are going to have a lot of eyes watching them. Xiao able to get a quick kill on the AK from XQuest. The other members, Cobra and Z9 Max, going to be hiding, just trying to get some health back, trying to get some reprieve.
But look at the map. Team 17 needs to worry about Gen G, which is pushing in force right now from the southeast. Like we said, they don't want a tunnel vision on XQuest here because Gen G is so very close. Looks like they are aware. Oh, Simson gets taken so very low but doesn't go down, as Gen G has picked up 11 kills so far this round. They are just dominating.
I mean, Gen G is such an aggressive squad. We've seen them play like this in the past, and when they have this motivation, this confidence behind them, they're able to rack up so many kills, and not just kills, but excellent placement as well. This compound continues to erupt. Gen G going to be firing some shots onto Team 17. Raffy from Method just waiting over there on the hay bales, but a beautiful knock coming out from the grenade from Wicked onto Team 17's QMCC.
The second that down came out, you saw him jump out the window. They're making the push, as Secret is actually in trouble right now. They're making their way out of the blue. They're taking their time doing it, as Ghost has been kind of gatekeeping them. Stand in check is going to go down, and that's going to be another kill picked up for them. But Gen G, they got the down onto QMC, I believe, did not push it as hard as I thought they would here. Looks like Shock should be able to get the res here. Balak needs to be careful. He's running from the blue. Smitty and Fiend still alive for Secret. They don't have any vehicles, though. They have to rely on the smokes. They have to rely on the utility to try to get themselves across the street. Now 17 completely focused here on Gen G.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is where their focus needs to be. It's the most dominant push coming off of that southern edge from the 4-man strong Gen G squad. But over here on the northeastern side of the circle, we have Ghost trying to make their own way in, finding themselves being pressured a bit by Knights. Knights 3 men strong, going to be firing those shots, trying to keep the pressure onto these guys while they have to worry about the blue coming behind their back. Balak taken down to about 10% HP, trying to get some meds off in the smoke before the blue will be taking away at his health as well. But this is such a wide open area for them to go across, and Turtle's going to be knocked almost immediately by Drayden.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Ghost here. They just had no way to really put any return fire onto Knights here. Knights had such good cover. There was no way that Ghost could even try to take shots. They just could try to hide in the smoke as long as they can. And meanwhile, Gen G finally pushing into Team 17 here. Shox has gone down to Simpson, and Gen G still 4 strong, 13 kills deep. They are looking really, really good here at the end game.
They are looking so good, Poro. And this next circle shift going to be taking us down to the southwest, still on this compound. These guys are going to have so much cover to work with, but with so many enemy players in this vicinity, it's going to be quite a bit of chaos for them around the map. Knights 3 men strong. They already took down Ghost coming off that northeastern edge. They just need to make their way in for themselves, but they also need to be worried about the team over there to the northwest. That's going to be Victory 5. They've been popping off some shots, getting a little bit of third-party action in throughout the game, but certainly a dominant force that you don't want to forget about.
Absolutely. Knights still 3 strong. They have a nice little ridge line here to work with. They just need to play this safely. They need to play it quietly. There's so much going on at the top of this plateau here that they don't need to get involved in just yet. They can wait until the shots start coming out and then third party in on this and probably come in with a win if they play it correctly. Gen G, meanwhile, needs to worry about Team 17. They need to worry about XQuest. And meanwhile, we have Victory 5 in the background trying to make a rotation. Knights could eat this up.
Oh, they absolutely will eat this up. Look at the tracer rounds coming out, making their connections onto the vehicle. Not a connection onto the player itself yet, but he is trying to do whatever he can to avoid these shots as Drayden continues to rain down hellfire onto the members from Victory 5, trying to make their own rotation into the northern side of the circle. If Knights can take out this threat, Poro, they will be absolutely safe on the northern side of the circle.
One down onto Little Lee from Drayden. It's now down to Landrin. Landrin's going to try to get the shots on Kramer. Kramer gets taken to about half health, and that's going to be him going down. And he's going to get killed off as well. So Landrin finally gets finished off by Drayden, but not before Kramer goes down. And that is now Knights down to 2. They have this. They still have good position to play off of here. But man, it's really going to matter what happens to Gen G here. If Gen G can finish this fight, these 2 fights essentially, and still remain 4 strong, it's going to be really tough.
The only team with 4 players still alive versus 2 men from Knights, 2 men from XQuest, and 2 men from Team 17. It's a bit of a standstill right now as these players have a bit of room to work with, but that is going to be changing in a matter of moments as we are 31 minutes and 45 seconds into game number 1. 4 teams alive, Poro, 10 players. Can Gen G continue this strong push and wipe out the rest of the enemies on the map, or will they face a little bit of resistance given that there are so many 2-man squads still alive?
Well, and Gen G knows that they can afford to play this patiently. They don't have to make the risk of trying to push into a compound where somebody could be hiding behind a wall and you're just not ready for them and you go down, or somebody could just be hiding behind the bulletproof curtains in the bathroom. There's no reason for them to push into this compound just yet when they can just wait for this next circle, see where it goes. Okay, now it gets a little bit trickier.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the positioning that Gen G has taken up in this compound, they have so many different angles covered. They're going to be able to spot any of the members of Team 17 rotating out of this building, but also all of the surrounding areas. Here comes Knights, going to be making a slow push up onto the hill, trying to get some information. Boxic going to be following up Drayden, and some shots already coming out, but it's going to be Gen G's Simpson on to some of the members of XQuest. Cobra still hiding behind his shack with his teammate, just trying to avoid any lines of sight for the time being. I mean, this really just comes down to who's going to move first, who's going to get caught out.
And you know this new circle has popped, and it really changes nothing. You know, XQuest still in their shack. They can still afford to stay in their shack. Team 17 still holding down the angles that they're holding in their house. Gen G has to move a little bit to get into the next circle, but Knights still have that ridge line that they can work with. So everything still remaining the same. It's really just kind of a question of who blinks first.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And Gen G has 4 guns ready to catch whoever is going to be blinking Poro. But with this, we still have a bit of a standstill around the map. These guys don't have to move really far or at all just yet. Just continue to watch your lines of sight, get a little bit of information for you and your teammate or teammates if you're Gen G to work off of.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm sure Gen G actually knows that Knights have that ridge line to work with. Doesn't look like they're too interested in pushing it just yet. You can see Simpson trying to make a little bit of noise running around here, seeing if he can find some angle to work here. But Gen G generally just playing this patiently. They don't need to risk losing any of their members while they still have so many people alive. As the circle is now going to push in, it's going to lock. Where's the next one going to go?
Oh, and
this
is
is going
the final
right
circle.
to the center.
Yeah,
final circle. Look at Gen G. Now they're swarming.
Now they are swarming. They know that they need to have lines of sight onto all different angles to catch out the enemy teams still alive. They don't know exactly what they're working with here, but we did see, like you said, Poro, Gen.G threw a flashbang down the hill towards Knights' direction, so certainly they're expecting a team to come up from that hill.
And I got to be honest with you, I really like Knights in this position. They have that ridge line that they can work with. Gen Z, Simpson's going to go ahead and push in. They're going to find 17. Sue gets taken so low. Loki and Chalater are actually going to go down. So this is now Gen.G down to 2 players. This is exactly what they didn't want to happen, as now XQuest is finding their way out of the shack. They maybe want to try to third party this. No, the shot's going to get from Shu, and Shu actually finishes off the last 2 kills. He's going to get Chalater as well. And oh, he has to reload, otherwise he would have... Oh, he almost gets Wicked. Wicked has no health left. And 17 Shu doing... And that's Gen.G going down, so it's now Knights and XQuest.
Exactly, Poro, and this is the situation that we were talking about. So many 2-man squads going to be able to sort of third party and work together to wipe out Gen.G, and that's exactly what happened. Gen.G, which once was a 4-man squad, has been absolutely decimated and wiped off the map. 2 teams remaining, 4 players alive. It's going to be a 2v1 situation, essentially, as Draydon is bleeding out. Now a 2v1, the Knights. Voxic versus XQuest, Z9 Max and Cobra.
What can Voxic do here? The circle is moving in slowly towards the center. Everybody's prone. XQuest been hiding out in the shack for so long. They finally come out to stretch their legs. They managed to third party and kill off Gen.G and Team 17, but they cannot see Voxic just yet. They don't know. They have an idea of where he might be, but they haven't got the vision yet. Voxic having this hillside that he can work with. He's going to have to get up now, though, and make the run towards the center. He does get vision onto 1. Does he get to 2? No, he cannot. And that is going to be Knights finishing in second. But XQuest coming in with the first win of the day, the first win of the tournament. Esquire, what a fantastic performance from these guys.
I mean, what an exciting in-game just in general. The fact that Gen.G got absolutely decimated. They were such a strong force, Pro, and I was about to say, these guys can flick it on and off, whether or not they're going to be playing aggressively or passively, but unfortunately just met their demise. But without, they were able to, get to third, and they've got a whopping 15 kills.
15 kills and a third place finish. Simpson with 7 of those kills. And we were talking about it as we were going. Eventually they were going to have to push into that compound, but God, you don't want to have to because it's so risky, and we see why there.
You know Gen.G wanted more. They're not going to be satisfied with this third place finish regardless of the performance throughout the game. They want that first place. They have their eye on the prize, and we're going to see them adjust, maybe play their strategy a little bit different throughout the rest of the 4 games here today. But the main story is XQuest. What a commanding finish by those guys, taking down the first place chicken dinner here in game number 1 to kick